Yeah.
Need that margarita machine, I'm telling you.
We'll vote on that later.
Okay.
When we got Vicky's vote too.
I know what her vote is.
As you can see, I have a twin sister. So don't confuse us. No reason.
I know what her vote would be too.
Do I need to second anything?
All right, at 6 o'clock, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Just a reminder to silence your cell phones. We will start with the swearing in of our new counselor for Ward 2.
Paperwork, I thought I was going to have to memorize this.
Mean. Are you? All right. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Vicki Quinlan,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution, the laws of the United States, and the state of Colorado.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution, the laws of the United States, and the state of Colorado,
The municipal code and the ordinances of the city of Brush,
the municipal code and the ordinances of the city of Brush,
and that I will faithfully perform all of the duties pertaining to the office of Counselor Ward 2 to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully perform all the duties pertaining to the office of Counselor Ward 2 to the best of my ability. Legal.
Almost not in your seat. You can. All right.
We're whole again.
All right. Let's do roll call.
Mayor Sherman,
Here.
Councilor Horton,
Here.
Councilor Quinlan,
Here.
Councilor Scalise,
Here.
Councilor Skiles,
Here.
Councilor Spradman,
Here.
Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Very good. Have the full council. I love it. All right. We've got the approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda for tonight?
I do have one. Under visitors and delegations, item A, we're going to move to a later meeting. Nancy decided to present to council during a later phase of the project.
Okay. All right.
Oh, also, the police chief is not going to be here this evening, so the golf carts licensing discussion, item 12, we can strike that one. Move to another one.
And with those changes, can I get a motion?
I move we approve the agenda for the regular meeting, April 27th, 2026, with the changes. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Skiles,
Yes.
Councilor Horton,
Yes.
Councilor Spradman,
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan,
Yes.
Councilor Tyree,
Yes.
Councilor Scalise,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We've all had a chance to read our minutes from our last meeting. Are there any corrections that anybody could see? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 13th, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Spradman,
Yes.
Councilor Scalise,
Yes.
Councilor Tyree,
Yes.
Councilor Horton,
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan,
Yes.
Councilor Skiles,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, so that takes us to citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor. We have anybody for public comment? I don't think so. All right. So we're going to move on to management. We've got a proclamation for National Foster Care Month, and we've got Carrie Schmickel here with the Department of Human Services. Might want to say a few words.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for having me here from the Department of Human Services. We're going into May, Foster Parent Awareness Month, but I appreciate you considering the proclamation and the support that you guys always give us year after year. We're always willing to give information to anyone that's interested in becoming a foster parent, but we also recognize that there are so many other ways that our community is supported through our business organizations, our religious organizations, 4-H kids, people, our law enforcement partners. People are always coming through with donations or discounts or things that help, and we really appreciate the support that you guys always give us.
Very good. Well, we thank you for coming tonight, and we've got a counselor that's going to read the proclamation, Counselor Tyree.
Proclamation number 2026-4 in recognition of National Foster Care Month. To designate the month of May as National Foster Care Month, whereas children are key to the state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, whereas children have a right to thrive, learn, and grow, whereas foster parents provide the love, safety, and stability that young children need in order to overcome past traumatic experiences in order to reach their full potential, whereas Colorado foster parents are caring for and nurturing more than 2,000 children and youth in foster care today, whereas we must come together as a community to recognize the important role foster parents play in caring for children who have experienced abuse and neglect, supporting family reunification and building strong communities, whereas there is always a need for more foster parents in order to ensure children, especially older youth, children with complex needs and siblings have a safe, stable home in their community, whereas there are numerous individuals, nonprofit organizations, and public servants who are dedicated to raising awareness about the needs of children and youth in foster care, as well as the invaluable contribution of foster parents. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares the month of May 2026 as National Foster Care Month in the city of Brush, Colorado, given under the hand of the mayor and seal of the city of Brush this 27th day of April 2026.
Thank you. All right, so we need a motion. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
A motion for this proclamation to approve.
I move that we approve proclamation number 2026-4 in recognition of National Foster Care Month.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes, that motion passes. We've got another proclamation in recognition of International Firefighters Day. Counselor Skiles going to read this
All right.
one.
Proclamation number 2026-5 in recognition of International Firefighters Day. To designate the date of May 4th, 2026 as International Firefighters Day. Whereas firefighters dedicate countless hours, selfless time away from their families, and take ultimate risks to serve their communities. And whereas firefighters in our community volunteer their time and leave their families, jobs, and personal lives to answer the call. And whereas the role of a firefighter is to respond to emergencies involving life, property, or environment, and to fight together against an enemy that can quickly destroy lives. And whereas the men and women of the fire service industry or a special group of individuals that exude extraordinary commitment and exceptional courage to tirelessly serve and protect others. And whereas International Firefighters Day was created in 1999 after firefighters tragically died during a wildfire in Australia, when the direction of the wind changed suddenly and engulfed them in flames. It is celebrated on May 4th because that is St. Florian's Day. And St. Florian was the first commanding firefighter of an actual Roman battalion, saving many lives and is considered the patron saint of firefighters. And whereas International Firefighters Day is a time when the world's community can recognize and honor the sacrifices that firefighters make to ensure their communities are safe as possible, and remember those that have given the ultimate sacrifice of their lives to protect the safety of others. Whereas we show our support and appreciation to the firefighters and their families in our community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 4, 2026 as International Firefighters Day in the city of Brush, Colorado. Given under the hand and seal of the mayor of the city of Brush this 27th day of April 2026.
Thank you. I'll look for a motion to approve this proclamation.
Second.
Oh, no, I can't make the motion.
I move that we approve proclamation number 2026-5 in recognition of International Firefighters Day.
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. All right, we've got a first reading of an ordinance, and I need a counselor to introduce it by title.
I'd move under ordinance number 920-26, amending section 2-3-50 B and L of the Brush Municipal Code regarding requirements of the city administrator.
Do you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, it's a pretty simple one. This is part of the city code that discusses the residential requirement of the city administrator. It's been to the council twice in work sessions, and council asked us to move it forward. And what it does is changes it to, instead of residing only within the city limits, within Morgan County or within a reasonable distance from the city as approved by the city council. And then that was put together by the city attorney.
Okay, so we've introduced it. We need a motion to approve on first reading and publish.
I move we approve on first reading and publish ordinance number 920-26, an ordinance amending section 2-3-50B1 of the Brush Municipal Code regarding the requirements of the city administrator.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Counselor Tony,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. That motion passes. All right, if I could get a counselor to introduce the next ordinance by title.
You just gotta read it, just the first reading, is that all you say?
Just do, get introduced by title and then read the,
Okay.
yep.
Introduce first reading ordinance number 921-26, amending the Brush Municipal Code Section 2-2-80 regarding conducting meetings in general conformance with Robert's Rules of Order.
Thank you. Tell us about this one.
Okay, this also has come in front of the council a couple different times at work sessions, and essentially it just changes a little bit of the verbiage in how we conform with Robert's Rules of Order. And our city attorney requests that it be changed to in general conformance with Robert's Rules of Order. So really just changing a few words there.
Perfect. All right, so I need a motion to approve this on first reading and publish.
Move to approve on first reading and publish ordinance number 921-26, amending the Brush Municipal Code, Section 2-2-80 regarding conducting meetings in general conformance with Robert's Rules of Order.
Second.
Any discussion?
Good.
Roll call vote.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Tony,
Yes.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. All right, next we have Dale is going to tell us about a permit application that we've received.
Okay, hopefully you received the memo today, either electronically or on paper. And this is regarding South Platte Solar's Watershed Protection District permit application. So just to go through the memo a bit, NextEra Energy Resources, through its subsidiary of South Platte Solar LLC, submitted Watershed Protection District permit application for its Deerfield Energy Center project. And this is a solar field constructed on 3,164 acres to produce approximately 1 million megawatt hours of electricity annually. The application was received on March 31st of 2026 and was deemed complete by the Director of Public Works on April 1st, 2026. And the city administrator was provided a copy on April 2nd, and the Brush City Council was provided a copy of the application on April 13th at the regular council meeting, through the work session, I should say. With that, as per section 13-7100 of the City of Brush's Watershed Protection Ordinance, permit review, burden issuance, or denial, paragraph C states, within 30 days following the filing of a complete application, which shall not be considered complete until all necessary information required by this article and the director is provided, and the director shall review the application and classify the proposed activity according to its impact on either the city's waterworks and/or the quality of the city's water supply. That 30-day window will close on this Thursday, April 30th, 2026. So after reviewing it within that 30-day window, we classify the proposed activities, section 13-7-70, regulated activities. Paragraph B states excavation, dredging, filling, grading, or compaction of any topsoil, sand, rock, dirt, or other material in excess of 1 acre, except as conducted in customary and regular farming practices. And so with this, looking over the plan sets that they have, incremental grading will be required in some areas of the panel installation and will require dust suppression and revegetation. So in addition to this cutting and filling out there in those sand hills, approximately 20 miles of access roads will also need to be built. This will also require fugitive dust suppression, and the dust suppression will utilize water application until stabilization takes place. The road construction will require approximately 23,467 cubic yards of aggregate. One of our concerns with this is, as well, is the source of this aggregate. And it may be of concern if it's extracted from the South Platte alluvium or other river alluvium. That is to say, the South Platte River has a lot of contaminants in it, and that can actually be carried over in the aggregate if it's mined out of there. And if they do wash it, they're washing it with river water. So that's one of our concerns there. So under paragraph B, the cut and the fill and the aggregate they're going to pull in and the water they're going to use for dust suppression. Paragraph F states spraying or using herbicides, pesticides, or chemical fertilizers on more than 1 acre for purposes other than agricultural purposes, except all spraying or use, including for agricultural purposes, shall be in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and in compliance with state and federal regulations and consideration of best management practices. And so it's anticipated some herbicide application will be required until native or equivalent remediation is established as per Morgan County's noxious weed control requirement. So if they do some cut and fill and they get noxious weeds or invasive species starting to form, they're going to have to do something with that. Paragraph O, any other activity that will cause material injury, damage, or harm to the city's waterworks or pollution of the city's water supply as reasonably determined by the city based upon the written recommendation of a licensed engineer or qualified professional, which specifies the cause and extent of such injury, damage, harm, or pollution. So some of the other concerns that we will have with this is the porosity of these sands out in that area. And in addition to that, the transmissivity of the soil. Transmissivity meaning how fast water moves through it in terms of feet per day. The proposed construction, there is proposed construction of detention ponds which will concentrate storm water runoff and will be required by the state engineer's office to exfiltrate that collected storm water into the ground within 72 hours. So if we have some detention ponds out there and we take a lot of storm runoff, anything that goes into those detention ponds has to be gone in 72 hours. Where is it going? Back into the ground, into the aquifer. So keeping that in mind. The project will be encompassed by large volumes of wildlife fencing. This construction will most likely use pressure-treated wood posts and galvanized wire fencing. Depending on the manufacturer of the treated wood, several harmful chemicals are used as a preservative. And the galvanized wire fencing will also develop what we call white rust, which is the oxidizing of the zinc coating. The solar panels will be affixed to galvanized structures in addition to the galvanized poles, which will be pile driven into the ground. So depending on the manufacturer, post-galvanization treatments can be utilized to reduce the formation of white rust. And so given those classifications, as we were able to look at back here, classify the proposed activity, there's several recommendations. The greatest impact from the project will be the construction phase. This is where most of the risk is involved. The construction is anticipated to take 20 months, so it's not all at once. It's going to take quite a while for them to do this. Large volumes of dust suppression water will need to be utilized, and the sourcing of this water will be very important. While the applicants state the water will evaporate and not soak into the aquifer, It is the residuals that are left behind that will cause concern, as a large rain event can carry those residuals into the aquifer, especially from the detention ponds. Another one is the utilization of herbicides. We would like that to be totally prohibited, however, it's not practical. The only other way of controlling noxious weeds is through mechanical methods, and once you've done that, it can subject that area to wind erosion as a blowout, and that is also undesirable. And the use of small herbicides may sound somewhat benign. However, when it's applied over 3,164 acres, this can be significant mass quantity versus just a concentration of a here and there. The fencing in the solar panels apparatus has the ability to leach contaminants into the soil and by extension into the groundwater. So Century Wells and a monitoring plan will be required to monitor for any potential contamination. Lastly, we are looking at financial security will be needed as nothing ever goes as planned. And with that, this financial security will need to be significant during the construction phase, but then can be reduced afterwards into the operational phase. Any operational financial security will also need to have an escalator to keep up with inflation with that. And so as per section 13-7-100, paragraph E, at this point, it is recommended to council to designate the city administrator as the director to issue the Watershed Protection District permit with conditions, and after the conditions and concerns are adequately satisfied. And that's it. I'll entertain any questions.
I have a question.
Certainly.
So what is the resolution for like, the herbicides? You said it's not, I mean, it's not practical to have them totally prohibited, but you don't really want them to do the mechanical method, so what is the,
We're gonna, we
allow a
can't,
small
one
amount?
of the conditions that we've been actually looking at is if they're gonna go out and spray with any herbicides, we would like to be notified and potentially even have somebody on site to monitor it as well. So we can see if it's just a spot here and a spot there, or are you doing the entire 3,164 acres? So,
Okay.
so it's a little bit of supervision. That can be one of the conditions that we're looking at right now.
Okay.
So we just need a little bit more time to put all the conditions together. So even as we go forward, there could be a few other things that we think of that we still have to discuss with the applicant and make sure, well, whatever we determine is necessary, they have to just comply with.
Yes.
Because I want to talk to fire department too.
Sure.
It's on the rural side, but it still
Yeah.
has an impact if there's a fire out there. Grass fire that goes through the whole field, I mean, how do you clean that up?
Yeah. There's been a lot of communication between the applicants and myself last week. So they're wanting to move this forward. And as with any other large corporation, that they don't want to have any black eye, especially if they ruin somebody's water source. That's not who, they don't believe that is their philosophy. They're not out to do that. So that's why we have to work cooperatively with them, in conjunction with them, because again, this is not our land, but they can do whatever they want. However, they cannot impact our water supply. They cannot damage our water quality or quantity.
So tonight, we're looking for the direction to approve the permit, right?
To designate the city administrator as the director to issue the Watershed Protection District permit, but I still have to come up with all the conditions.
But that has to be done by the 30th?
No. We just have to designate, you either have to approve, deny, or designate somebody
Okay.
else to do this.
Okay, sorry, that's where I'm like.
When conditions are set, does that come back to us to
Yes.
look over? Yes, okay.
Yes, this will come back to you, yeah, there won't be anything, yeah, we want everything out in the open, we want everybody to know what our
Okay.
conditions are.
What kind of oversight do you guys think, or are we gonna be allowed to, or like, can you just show up, or what kind of time frame? Do we have to have permission to get on, to oversee it, or what's kind of your feel for that, or what do you think?
Not so much that we would have to ask permission, I mean, obviously, if that's a condition, that we have that right to enter and inspect and/or observe, say, herbicide applications or something along that line. Obviously, it's just good manners that you ask, but we would word it such that we cannot be unreasonably denied.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like with fire, they're supposed to have like knock boxes, things like that out on the gate so they can get in there at any time. But we wish we would have had more information by tonight, but still they're communicating, and it'll take us probably a few more weeks before we shape things up to the final document. Then we'll bring that back to council and we'll answer a lot more of those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, they're eager to cooperate with us.
Okay.
So, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. And we don't have the applicant here, so I would look for a motion that,
I move we designate the city administrator as the director to issue the watershed protection district permit with conditions, and after the conditions and concerns are adequately satisfied.
Second.
any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Skiles?
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. All right, board appointments. We've got staff recommendations. Do you want to?
I can take that one.
Okay.
We have three boards, commissions that we're looking to appoint members to tonight. The first one being the Planning and Zoning Commission, Grant Becker, which would fill the final vacancy for the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then for the Board of Adjustment, Mark Osnes, Greg Garvick, and Nancy Olander, which will also fill all of the vacancies for Board of Adjustment. And then in the Water Advisory Board, also Mark Osnes and Nancy Olander, and that will leave one vacancy left.
Nice.
Do you have any questions on any of the candidates?
It's nice to see those positions being filled.
We were very pleased to see the response on this
Yeah.
last push that we made.
That's awesome. All right, so I look for a motion to approve these appointments.
I move we approve the appointments as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Skiles?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, we're on to finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for April 14th, 2026 through April 27th, 2026, totaling $490,491.90.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Quinlan?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Skiles?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Staff reports. Tyler Purvis, Assistant Administrator.
All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Councilor Quinlan, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just a handful of things real quick. The first three are just events coming up. Just make the community aware. The first one is Cinco de Mayo, this Saturday from 2 to 9 downtown. It's shifted to the latter half of the day. This year, the weather's going to be nice. We can capitalize on that. And then the lights we have downtown too. So toward the end of the day, there'll be live music and then the pretty lights. So invite the whole community out to that. The following Saturday is the Morgan County Makers Market once again. It's been a quarterly event done by a private group. The Chamber is supporting that one. And then tomorrow, we're doing our annual Arbor Day celebration with the third graders. Trees are technically sort of planted. They're in place, looking to be finished off in front of Central School, right along that green strip there. There's those old cottonwoods, and those have a lifespan on them, so we wanted to get some younger, pretty trees in there, so those start growing as the other ones eventually have to come down. So that's open to not just the parents of third graders, but any community members as well. At our next council meeting, we're going to have a special use permit public hearing for a auto sales business in the commercial core, aka downtown area, in front of the old, or at the old Lucy's Floral at 222 Colorado Avenue. And so I won't say too much because this isn't the public hearing, but the name has drawn some attention. Like, why would there be a car dealership there? It's not quite that, but it's categorized underneath that, but you'll hear more about that at our next meeting, and then hopefully make a decision on that. And then lastly, on a personal note, wanted to brag on the Banner Health, their clinic over there. So I've been going through physical therapy for my shoulder, if you remember. And although my range of motion isn't fully there, it's come a long way. I used to have to just do that, look like I was hailing Hitler every time. That's all I could do. But yeah, I could go much higher now. But I've never gone through physical therapy before, and not just my physical therapist, Derek, although he's done a great job, but just great environment there. Good people to interact with. I watched a lot of the other citizens in there going through their rehab of different stages, and of course everybody wants to get better, but just a great environment. I know some of you have gone and worked through them as well. Not always the best experience for you. You were joking around one time, but they were teasing you. But yeah, so kudos to them. They do a great job. I just want to give them a shout out. So that's all I got.
Very
If you have
nice.
any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. All right.
Thank you, Tyler. Fire Chief York.
Evening, Mayor and Council. So if you remember last council meeting, we talked about the storage building. I was waiting on the third bid. It has come in, and that bid was from Buildings by Design, and the total on that bid was $239,539. So it's over budget. The other two bids, Premier Builders came in at $130,940. However, it did not include the whole scope of the project, so they did not include electrical, lighting, HVAC, nor the dirt work for the site itself. And the other bid was from Hastings Construction, and it was $147,840, and that included the whole scope of the project. So I would like to make a recommendation that Hastings Construction receives the contract for the storage building.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, so that should have been under management if we're gonna do that piece of it, but we can do it at the next one. Just put it underneath management.
Okay, we'll vote on that at the next
These are
meeting.
reports, not action items.
Well,
But, yeah.
in the last council meeting, it said it would be brought to this council meeting, so.
Oh, so we should have had him under management.
Yeah. We'll get it at the next one.
Okay. Okay.
The Timberwolf arrived in Fort Collins on Friday. Hopefully it will be delivered this week. The tower is in final stages. We will go out the third week of May for final inspection on it. So it should be here in June, and then will be put into service. So once both trucks are here, we'll do the open house push-in ceremony for that. In regards to the solar project out by Pawnee, that's not the only one that is currently under construction. That company has reached out. We've met with all the companies. We have to approve their fire mitigation plan before it goes forward. So I've reviewed that plan and signed off on it. So they have to have 200 foot of defensible space from basically the fence line to where the first solar panels can actually be. Then they have to keep the ground, the weeds and the grasses down to a certain height in case a fire does come through there, it stays low and doesn't affect the solar panels itself. And same with the retention ponds, they have to keep the mitigation. They can't have any weeds whatsoever in their retention ponds. So those have been approved and signed off on. That company's actually coming in June to provide a training to all the county departments at our station, because it's just not solar panels. It is battery storage as well. So that is new to our area, and extinguishing those is a whole different beast than anything else. The other solar farm panel or system that's going in is actually off of, it's our Morgan County Road F. If you go off south on 71 over on F, if you go out of Fort Morgan, it's actually Morgan County Road K.
Yeah.
That they meet there, and that one is a same thing, very large project with solar panels and battery storage system. That one is actually owned by XL. So initially, when it first started, it was a different company, and then Excel purchased that company, so they own that project. And so they're getting ready to start all their construction and everything out there. So during the peak of construction, there will be 300 to 400 contractors on site out there. So, and they, same thing, had to review their fire mitigation plan. It's the same thing as all the others that have been submitted here in the last year or so. So, and they are actually, they'll have about 190,000 gallons of water on site out at the project on F and K that we can utilize if need be. So there is that. We had another new member come on board last week, so that puts us at 34, which leaves us one spot available to be at our max. So we're in a very good spot. So with that, if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you, Ray. Dale, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Just for clarification, and the battery energy storage system that was referenced by Chief here, they were very conscious about not actually installing those or placing those within our watershed protection district. So just keep that in mind. So what they are doing right now is outside of our district, and so they can move forward with that, but it is outside of that particular area. Speaking of aquifers, we're monitoring it and trying to put together some better data. We're going to be looking at it twice a month just to see what's going on with the levels. Again, this isn't about not having augmentation to pump. This is about if there's no aquifer there, you can't pump it. So we have to be very careful because we have had absolutely zero recharge out there in the well fields this whole last winter. And that's how we replenish that aquifer. So both been talking with Quality Water as well as myself because they also have 2 wells out there. And we're going to be looking at this very closely. Hope to have some more information available on Thursday to kind of review and bring to staff and management. Next is a reminder that we still have one more night tonight of hydrant flushing. The good news is that the crews that were out there flushing the hydrants stated that, you know, they cleared up really quick. So there's, you know, we talk about, you know, lack of water availability, and I know that sometimes people say, well, what are you doing wasting that water? But if you don't, then you're going to be flushing that line maybe once or twice a year for 30, 40 minutes. That's a bigger waste of water. So it was good news that, you know, they clear up in about 5 or 10 minutes and they can move on to the next one. So there's not a whole lot of waste there. But they said the mains are looking really good. But that does not say that you will not get something. So make sure you flush your lines before you try to do laundry or anything like that. Turn off your ice machines. Just check to make sure. And if you do have dirty water, just run it out on your grass. We're also going to be doing some valve exercising out there on the streets once a week, and so please watch for our crews out there. Now, of course, they're still going through meter replacements, getting these newer meters replaced, and hopefully get to where we can do radio reads instead of actually having to go out there and physically check each meter. On a good note, the styrofoam container we had outside there, they did their first pickup today, and we collected actually 4 very large sacks of these of styrofoam, plus I think another 4 50-gallon bags, leaf bags of styrofoam as well. So the sponsors of this program were very impressed with the amount of material we got in. So it's a good job, and they're really happy. The one thing that I will say is that we did notice a lot of contamination. Sort of like when you get a computer monitor, it's got this kind of a foam sheet covering on it. People are throwing that in there as well, and throwing tape and other stuff that's in there that's not allowed. So we would just ask the community to clean up the styrofoam before we put it in there. So also keep in mind that next week is beginning of spring cleanup. And so we'll have crews out there. Good news is this year we'll have 3 trucks and a lot more staff to get out there and get it picked up. And hopefully this doesn't drag on and like it has in the past. On another sad note, longtime engineer for the city of Brush, John McGeehan, who operated JDS Hydro and through several iterations. Right now, his company, JDS, was acquired by a company called Respect. Before JDS, it was Kiowa Engineering, and before that, it was PKM. And so he's been with the city for 40 years. And I've known him for 36 of those 40 years. He finally turned in his keys last Thursday. So, a lot of knowledge going out the door right there. He was a very brilliant man, and every time you had an interaction with him, you learned something. So, it'll be sad, but he did leave us in good hands. So, looking forward to working with those other younger junior engineers. And then I just also want to make note real quick, in wastewater, our tenant down there on Farm North, he was growing corn, but because the alfalfa tends to, it has the ability to perform really poor. It becomes, it becomes toxic to itself. So you need to rotate out crops. He was thinking he might want to do it with corn again still, but the phosphorus uptake of that corn is not as good as the alfalfa, and we're starting to see some accumulation of phosphorus in that soil. So both in terms of a request, he would like to be able to put that back in alfalfa to help uptake some more of that phosphorus. But in order for him to do so, he will be needing a 2-year extension on his lease from 2030 to 2032. And I did ask Monty if he would approve that, and so he did. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we are going to extend that lease out a couple years because he's going to grow alfalfa to help with the phosphorus. So.
Yeah. And just a reminder, we always handle that farm different than the others. It's just really unique with our biosolids and everything
Correct.
else. And then, if you remember the last time we did farm leases, I think Justin, remember we had some
I
issues
have it on
there.
my calendar, it's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, so those are 5 years if I remember right.
Yeah.
I believe I know that we're going to have to advertise again for farm bids this upcoming October, and I know that's kind of that September, October. I know that's harvest, and it's stressful on the farmers to try to put together a bid, but we need to give them time to prep fields or not prep fields if they don't get the lease back. So, okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Brenda.
First of all, of the 2 meetings in May, the second one falls on Memorial Day, so we're going to be canceling that meeting. And then if we need a special meeting set up, we'll communicate with council and find the best date that works for everybody. And to let you know, as the local liquor authority, we have received an application for a transfer of ownership for the property and the liquor license for Eastside Liquor. And it's not, since it's transfer of ownership, it doesn't follow the same process or procedure as a new application, so there's not going to be a public hearing. On the city side, it moves pretty quickly, but I'll keep you updated as we move through the process. And once it gets to the state, it can take a while at the state because they have a much bigger process and procedure that they have to follow. But I'll keep you updated on that. And then we are reviewing with staff the requirements for the mobile home park permits in code, and I will be presenting the proposed changes to council at a later meeting. And we are working on the capital projects for safety here in City Hall, which all of the projects are moving along very well, which are cameras, silent alarms, another exit door out of council chambers, and then ballistic shields to line the dais, which is also the court bench, and then desks down the main hall of City Hall. And we will be putting together safety training for council sometime soon. I'm not sure exactly when that will be, but soon. And then apologies to Chief Urick. I'll make sure that that gets on the next agenda. Okay. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Monty.
One item I just want to remind council about is that we are working aggressively, already started, on all of our beautification of brush projects. So quite a bit is already gone on and more is happening. I think the last one is poles from downtown. We're powder coating those black. A lot of the signage poles that we have down there, been peeling a lot. But the big push is to beautify brush before the 4th of July. So we have a ton of projects. And then Kim is currently working on, if she hasn't selected someone, she's very shortly going to select 2 additional seasonal people to come in and help support Dale's crew and Lance's crew. And a lot of projects that we have just trying to dress up the town before 4th of July for the 250th and the 150th anniversaries. One question I did have for Tyler or Dale was backflow preventers on houses for sprinkler systems. What do we require currently?
Currently vacuum breakers.
Vacuum breakers? Okay, because I did have someone ask me if they knew of a place that did not have one. They're worried about the health concern of back siphonage of water. Do we have any active programs of looking at those at this point?
We do. That is to say, when somebody, you have to have a permit from the Community Development Department in order to install a sprinkler system. And when you do that, one of the requirements is when it's done, we have to go actually inspect that it's actually installed.
Okay, but then after that,
Properly installed.
but after that, or really old houses, any programs?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Case by case? Okay. The other item is in work session.
Okay. All right. Mayor and council reports. Councilors have anything?
The only thing I had was a couple questions, and I asked Monty about them at the budget
Finance.
commission thing, but the sign that blew down on the west side of town, is there any plan on putting that back up?
I believe that was Lance's
Might be.
jurisdiction.
No, it was mine.
Where's,
The plan is, yes, it's just expensive. It's expensive, that's all there is to it.
Okay.
So we're looking at possibly moving the one on the east side of town too, because it's tough. We put it there, and then that fence came in right up against it, so somewhere. But that's not, it's easier said than done too.
And then the other one that I got a question on is and I haven't been over there to see it, there's some type of historic signage by the museum about a trail, or, I don't know what it is, but it's, I guess it's kind of dilapidated, and they were curious if that fell under Lance or the museum.
Technically, the museum is technically a separate organization in the city of Rush. We own the building,
Mhm.
and there's obviously a lot of cooperation and overlapping on that, but
Okay.
unless there's more from Joanne or someone who's on the museum board might know a different story, since she was
Okay.
here for so long.
Yeah, that group, that couple that come through town, I think they posted a picture of it or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
seen that.
Is that what it was? I don't know why it got brought up.
I
Yeah,
was looking at it.
that's going through like every city in Colorado and did a big write-up. I think they posted a picture of it, and people were asking some questions about it, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to welcome back Vicki. Vicki was here when I first started on council, and I was just a scared little girl watching Vicki show me what to do and how to do it. And so I'm happy to have you back.
Glad to be back.
That is all I have. So I will look for a motion to adjourn, and we'll move into work session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We will go into work session. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
I believe this guy, Jared, is that his name, Jared?